You're listening to EPN, the E-Podcast Network.
This is Eric Dye, and once again, welcome to Enterprise Radio, your EPN channel for exclusive interviews with entrepreneurs, small business owners, and top executives who have had great success, as well as the sharing of their latest creations, products, and/or services that can help you build your business, leading to business success. Today, we are speaking with, once again, Cory Collins, the president and CEO at Ample Opportunity, Inc., a business consulting firm that specializes in business coaching, sales training, and leadership development. Mr. Collins, welcome back to the program.
Pleasure is all mine.
And also, we thank you for your time as well. So, for starters, how do you create a great customer service experience? Let's start there.
Yes, it's very important. And I think the key to creating a great customer service experience is we must wow the customer every single time they do business with us. We have to absolutely wow them. Now, when I was younger in high school, I was working at a local fast food restaurant, and when they hired me, they went over the rules and told me the do's and don'ts, and this is what the expectations are. A couple of months later, the district manager was visiting the restaurant, and we knew that he was coming, so they called a meeting, and they started going over all of these rules and do's and don'ts and what we need to do, to make sure that we impress the district manager. But these were the same exact things that they told me when I was hired, so I'm wondering, why are we trying to enforce these rules now? Shouldn't we have been enforcing them all along? So why are we waiting until the district manager is in town to start doing the things that we're supposed to do every single day? These are the things that we should be doing with our everyday customers and clients. So my rule is to treat every single client like they're a celebrity. So if we're going to have a celebrity visiting our establishment, we're going to make sure everything's on point. So why not do that for every single client? When I was younger, I also was working in a retail store, and we had a mystery shopper or secret shopper that was going to stop by. And if you're not familiar with that, that's the person who is hired by the company to visit the location, and they'll send a report as to what took place. They'll grade you to make sure that you're doing everything the way you're supposed to be doing. So when we got word that this mystery shopper was coming, again, it was kind of a panic mode. The manager was telling us, okay, let's make sure this is in place and that's in place. But again, why are we doing this now that the shopper is coming into the location? We should do this for every single client. So that's what we have to do in order to wow them every single time.
And I couldn't agree more with you. That's some really rich information there. Thanks for sharing that. Now, what are some tips for retaining clients? This is also very important.
Well, it starts with the customer service that we just spoke of, and then it boils down to two things. Number one is we must consistently deliver that customer service. So that amazing customer service. So if a client comes to your establishment or does business with you once and it's great, they do business with you again and it's not the same, it's not as good, that inconsistency is going to keep them away. So we have to make sure that we deliver every single time. The second thing is, I think we can do, as entrepreneurs, we can do a better job of consciously placing emphasis on customer retention. I think it gets lost in the shuffle for whatever reason. There's really three areas that we have to focus on. Number one is customer acquisition, which of course is acquiring the customers, getting customers. I think all entrepreneurs understand the importance of that. But number two is customer reacquisition. What about clients that we had in the past, but we don't have anymore? We lost them for whatever reason. What systems do we have in place to track those clients? What systems do we have in place to reach out to those clients to see what went wrong? Is it something that we did? Did they move? What's going on there? But number three, customer retention. What are we doing to retain our customers? Because we spend a lot of money on advertising and marketing to get the customer, but when we have them, sometimes we drop the ball and we don't put as much energy or as much revenue or focus into retaining them. So again, we just have to simply place emphasis on customer retention, and we'll see that it will increase.
And tagging on to that, Mr. Collins, what is the client's responsibility to your business, and when is it appropriate to say no to a client?
My expectation of a client is to give me the same level of respect and professionalism that I give them. And I don't think that's too much to ask. Now, as far as it being appropriate to say no, it's interesting. I actually met with a celebrity barber here in my town a couple of weeks ago. We were on a panel together, and we were talking about this exact topic. And he has a rule where if someone calls his barbershop or schedules an appointment with his barbershop, if they cancel 3 times, he will not allow them to come back. And he had a longtime client who decided to cancel 3 times, and he enforced that rule he decided not to allow that client to come back. And it kind of goes back to what I'm saying is you have to do that same level of respect and professionalism, but we say no when the relationship is no longer mutually beneficial. So when that client cancels, what happens is the barbershop owner has a vacancy in his schedule. So there's a barber that's there and they don't have any customers. So that's not a mutually beneficial relationship because the client, he can continue to go and get his haircut somewhere else, but the barbershop is losing money at that point. So it has to be a mutually beneficial relationship. It's a partnership. I look at my relationship with the client as a partnership. We both gain something. The client gains a great product or service, and I gain, obviously, their business, which is a financial gain. So if we aren't both benefiting from the relationship, then we have to part ways.
Great information so far. Today we're joined by Mr. Cory Collins, the president and CEO at Ample Opportunity, Inc., a business consulting firm that specializes in business coaching, sales training, and leadership development here on Enterprise Radio, a part of EPN, the Enterprise Podcast Network. Now, Mr. Collins, knowing what you know now, what is one thing you would tell yourself when first starting your business years ago?
Delegate responsibilities more. Absolutely. I know as a new business owner, I think most business owners would agree that we tend to want to do everything ourselves because it's our business, it's our baby. No one cares about it more than us. No one's going to do a better job than we will. And that may be true to an extent, but we're not going to be able to really grow and maximize the potential of the business if we are doing everything. So we have to, my rule is anything that someone can do 80% as well as I can, I want to delegate that responsibility to them. Now, is 80% as good as our 120%? No, not at first. But eventually, they'll get to 90%. Eventually, they'll become as good as we are. And the ultimate goal is that they are better at that responsibility than we are. So first, we have to show them how to do it. We're there doing it. They're watching us. Next, we have to watch them do it. They're doing it. We're there with them in case they have any questions or problems. And finally, at some point, we have to let go. Let them do it. We're not in the vicinity. We're not even in the building. Let them take care of it, and eventually, again, they'll become as good as we are, even better. Had I done that in the beginning, my business would have taken off a lot faster.
Certainly live and learn, and that's some great learning advice and information right there as well. Now, how do you balance being a business owner and all of life's other responsibilities? Touch on that, if you would.
This is a question that I get a lot, and I think that people make it more difficult than it is. I understand when you have a business that takes up a lot of your time. I understand the hours and the blood, sweat, and tears that you have to put into it. But we must understand what's important for our sanity, our mind, our body, and our spirit, and we cannot neglect that. So we have to be very organized. We have to take time to plan in advance what those things are. I call these things my big rocks. I put them on my schedule in advance. And nothing short of a family emergency can remove those things. So for some people, it may just be a simple spa day. It may be exercising. It may be being with your kids or going to a school event. Whatever that is, we have to do that as we're running our business. We can't let our business be 100% of our life, or we'll start to suffer in every area, and everything can possibly fall apart. And when it comes to spending time with your loved ones while balancing the business, it's not about how much time you spend. It's not about the quantity. It's about the quality. So you can spend an entire weekend with someone but really not give them your full undivided attention, whereas you can spend 2 or 3 hours with them and give them your undivided attention 100%, be fully present, fully engaged, and that will be more effective than spending the entire weekend and not being as engaged. So make the time that you do spend really count, and the balance will be there.
Cory, certainly appreciate all the great advice shared here today. A pleasure to have you back with us on the program as well. If listeners wanted to get in touch with you and get further details, not only on yourself, but Ample Opportunity, Inc., where could they find the details?
Absolutely. You can go to the website tinyurl.com/Cory, Cory, R. Collins, Collins.
And we'll drop that link within the show notes of this broadcast. Again, Mr. Collins, all the best, and thanks for spending a moment with us here today, once again, on Enterprise Radio.
Thank you for having me.
And it was certainly our pleasure. We've been speaking with, once again, Mr. Cory Collins, President and CEO at Ample Opportunity, Inc., a business consulting firm that specializes in business coaching, sales training, and leadership development. And for all the details, simply visit ample-opportunity.com. All links will be included within the show notes of this broadcast. And again, this is Eric Guy, and you've been listening to Enterprise Radio, a part of EPN, the Enterprise Podcast Network. Tune in to our live location as we are streaming live 24/7 around the world at enterprisepodcastnetwork.com/live. You can also find our live stream on iTunes Radio and TuneIn Radio, as well as the TuneIn Radio app for your listening convenience. And as always, we thank you for your support and for tuning in.
This is the E-Podcast Network.